Whoa, talk about 2023. Welcome back, fellow time travelers and comic book aficionados. I had the opportunity to go to a small convention taking place in a church basement called Bela Con. It's the first of its kind and the first annual convention, and it was a small treat. Let me take you back there right here. I'm right over here with Tim Seeley, very excited here at Bela Con, the first annual con. I hope for many more.
And the great, the flag behind me?
Yeah, very patriotic. It's good. We salute. We're patriotic here, but I'm happy to be with Tim Seeley. A great bunch of books right here, giving his generous time to talk with us, the fans. And Local Man, if you're able to check it out, Local Man here is one of the top titles, as well as Money Shot and Shazam here, which I picked up, and I'll show you in the video too. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
And happy reading.
Have a good Bela Con.
Wow, what a fun con that was. It was a small group of vendors, comic book fans, and artists all together in a church auditorium talking about nostalgia, collectibles, and of course, comic books. And I have to thank Ron and Rob of Zombie Unicorn Comics in Chicago for letting me know about Bela Con. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gone. And I'm glad that they did, and I'm also more glad that they're my local comic book shop. And they always have great modern books and back issues and always have my back in all things related to comics. And also one of the most organized websites that I've ever found for a shop to have. So I always thank Ron and Rob for doing their best to find comics for me and for just having a great selection. And also, it was neat to see great artists like Tim Seeley. He was one of the first people that I met walking into the con as they opened, and he had his books and modern projects that he was working on from Local Man and was talking comics. So that was pretty neat. Tim was very generous with his time, talking to us fans about his upcoming project, his inspirations, and what he likes to do in terms of artwork. And it was just a lot of fun. He was like one of the guys and just related to us very well. It was great to hear him talk to other fans and their discussion, and just a very matter-of-fact, down-to-earth guy. The artist also provided signatures with no charge and was just great to hang around with. And before him were dazzling books that were with beautiful new covers and such, because Tim Seeley is literally in every corner of the comic book universe, from Image Comics, where he frequently work with, to Marvel, to DC. Tim Seeley has a hand in all of that. So if you've heard of Gwen and the Spider-Verse, he was working on Gwenverse right there. He also had a hand in the story in Shazam, best known for Revival, Hack Slash, which were earlier titles they worked with, and currently Local Man. And right here is one of the covers that I have. It's a nice gold foil cover, which seems to be coming up more and more, and Tim Seeley's autograph right on the top. It's about an action hero in the rural setting of America, kind of down on his luck and moving back home with his parents, but he kind of goes in alignment with some other heroes to fight crime, finding that some are good and some are bad. And the adventure begins with this issue from August of 2023. So now we're time traveling into the future where some greatness is going to be the direction we're headed. Also, Tim worked on this book right here, which is more of a horror genre, and signed it on top. The artwork is really a lot of fun, and it's reminiscent of his work with Revival, among other titles that he worked on. This book right here, West of Sundown, features a beautiful vampire, as you can see right here, fleeing New York City for New Mexico in the desert. And it's almost like a horror slash Western theme, and beautiful artwork within of the adventures that this vampire has to partake in. She kind of befriends an officer from the Civil War, kind of guides her through, and talking about time traveling, she's been through it all. And just look at the artwork here, that contrast, and with Tim's work really standing out there. And not only is the art a lot of fun, panel by panel, the story is also very compelling. So it takes place in the deserts of New Mexico, west of Sundown, a fun series that's relatively new. So Tim Seeley's projects have really grown into fruition, and he's also worked with DC Comics with the well-known Shazam that had a movie out not long ago, and he presented to me this foil cover, which I have not seen before, and I said, wow, that's pretty neat with all the heroes right there, and he was generous enough again to sign it for me as he was telling me about his work and the stories in Shazam. So a lot of neat artwork coming from Tim, and I'm just eager and happy to see what happens next. But of course, I've already seen what's happened next because I do have a time machine that goes into the future, and let me tell you, it is great. Right next to Tim, another great artist by the name of Derek Masson, and his artwork is right next to me here. A lot of pop cultural references from Punch-Out from the Nintendo Entertainment System to Donkey Kong to Godzilla right here. I had to pick up this print, and you could see in the Japanese type font, it actually spells out Chicago with Godzilla wreaking havoc on the L train and the Sears Tower, or Willis Tower, mind you, and Navy Pier. So had to pick it up, local connection there, and just a lot of vibrancy and brightness with the torso of Godzilla gleaming with the light from below Lake Michigan, and also the Wrigley Field marquee. So a lot of great elements of Chicago represented in this, and just a beautiful piece that I have before me that you can enjoy throughout this video. And Derek was also selling comics, and he had a #1 issue right here of Supergirl, Carmine Infantino's artwork, also created by Otto Binder, and just a neat cover right there. Had to pick this one up, 60-cent Bronze Age goodness. Didn't have this in the collection, and just really liking how it says here, the first issue, and the skyline in the background. As you can tell, I'm a fan of skylines and big cities, and both of them are represented here. Also, I picked up at the con from various vendors now is Alex Ross cover. I do like Alex Ross, and a particular version of Captain America around the time of Stanley's passing, as it's represented there in respect and memoriam. But Alex Ross is one of the great artists right now working for Marvel and also DC, and just had to pick this one up. Also filling in some gaps, walking from booth to booth. There's a lot of G.I. Joe, Star Trek, and Star Wars. As an 80s kid, this was to my delight to see all that and more. So I was able to pick up issue number 8 to add to the collection of Star Wars, and just a fun cover with Chewbacca here. He also reminds me of Bucky O'Hare, which was later a cartoon series after he came out in this one, but it's not Bucky O'Hare. And this was a 35-cent cover from the 78-79 run of Star Wars. Also Star Trek The Next Generation with Commander Data on the cover. A great story of Commander Data being abducted by aliens and the captain having to make a critical decision whether to abandon a mission that he was working on to save Data or not. So the crew is in a stir, should they get back Commander Data or leave him be? And the story unfolds. In this early issue, issue number 7 of a very long run of Star Trek The Next Generation. Rewinding back to the Kirk era, we have Star Trek, and this is the Marvel, not the DC version. And what's really neat, I'm going to open it up, it kind of relates to the fall and Halloween. We find the Enterprise before a land is reminiscent of a haunted house. Well, it is a haunted house. So that's kind of neat to see the pages there. This is from the 4th issue of Marvel Star Trek, and that's from the year 1980. You can see the creatures popping out and the all-star cast of characters, and it's a very nice copy too. It even has some advertisements for prizes on the back. So it's just filling holes of the Star Trek collection, and also some G.I. Joes right here, including an early one, issue number 8, right there, with some of the technology and tanks and blasters that you would see. I like the logo there on the top. We also have another G.I. Joe, issue number 30, this time attacking and destroying part of a plane fin. So I'm eager to read these and add to the collection. A small con, there's a group of mostly modern books, some Bronze Age books, so it's fun to pick those up. Also Ninja Turtles, growing up at the time where the animated series was very popular, we're coming home to that. I found in a dollar bin, the organizer of Bela Con, this was his booth, had a copy that was pretty beat up and water damage of the first issue of IDW's Ninja Turtle. The story is complete. Everything looks okay on the inside, but the first page is some damage. So for $1 to have one of the covers for the first issue is good to have. And also a free comic book day from 2022 of the dark noir Frank Miller style Ninja Turtles right there. This is where the local comic book shop would put their sticker to promote their shop, and this one is untouched with stickers, and it shows the Ninja Turtles right there in good condition. So TMNT goodness for those that enjoy Ninja Turtles is right there, from Michelangelo to the Fearsome Four. This next cover was purchased solely because of the cover. It was just caught my eye, and it features Mars Attacks and Sonya. What a neat combo. And the cover was just really amazing to see. I always like UFOs and sci-fi, and of course action of sorts. And we have right here the aliens attack and Sonya getting the best of them. She's upset that her horse gets attacked by one of these minions, and she lets out her fury. So without ruining the story, a great fun story, a beautiful cover, painted, and really much worth noting in this series. And this was from Zombie Unicorn Comics. The last comic that I picked up was from Slabalicious. That's the name of the company and the vendor. And he has a lot of foil covers right there, including this beautiful foil cover of Batman, issue number 1 right there, the spring issue that we all know from that yellow cover, and now we have it in a foil rendition. Is foil back? I remember from the 90s it was a gimmick, but now I'm seeing more and more foil. And this one is a reproduction of the full Batman story inside, and just great to see there. A lot of other covers from Wonder Woman #1, the Perez cover was there. Also, Batman, other issues of Spider-Man 300, the variant from Todd McFarlane. So foils, I guess, are back. They're there. Some argue that the color is muted a little bit. It's a little darker, more subtle. But if, for those that like shiny things, it's an interesting comic to add to the collection. And that was Bela Con. Thanks for traveling with me this time into the future, where we see emerging artwork by the great Tim Seeley coming into fruition from West of Sundown and Local Man, as well as other projects, including Money Shot, and also Derek Masson with his great poster artwork right here. So Bela Con was inspiring and eye-opening to some great comic art for the future.